Hi again, everyone. Let's keep this show rolling, shall we? We've had a really, really good last episode where I introduced. I'm bringing the show back for a few very, very special episodes, and I've really been looking forward to this one. This is one of the guests that I've wanted to welcome back for a long time. Really, well, a long time. It's been a couple of years since I last spoke to him, but it's been so much I've been observing that he's been up to. I really wanted to get him back on no time like the present because he's got something very exciting on the horizon as well. I welcome back one of my favorite guests ever, and I'm not just saying that. Singer-songwriter extraordinaire, Matt Steady. How are you, mate?
Hey Chris, I'm very well, thank you.
Good, good. It's so good to have you back on, mate. It's we had a cracking chat last time, and as you know, and anyone else who dares listen to me know, I'm a very big fan of your work. And you know, we've even though we've already gone into your history and that before, we still got I feel like we still got so much to talk about today. So I'm really looking forward to this. Um, what's been happening really? Let's kind of fill in the gaps. I was looking back.
Oh gosh.
The last time we spoke, I think you were just preparing for the release of the Grace Machine album.
Oh gosh, yes.
Yeah,
Fun.
that was sort of the big thing that you
I
had
loved that
going.
album. That was great.
Yeah, it was fantastic. Yeah. So cast your mind back, really. Just give us a quick summary, I suppose, and some of the things, some of the highlights that have been going on for you.
Well, personally, it's been a very interesting couple of years. My wife and I foster and adopt, and at the moment we've got four foster children in our care, along with our three adopted and our grown-up daughter as well.
Busy
Um,
household, then, to say the
Yeah, and
least.
she's getting married this summer. So at the moment, I'm cooking for 10 for my sins.
Fantastic.
It's great fun. It's absolutely crazy here.
No mean
But
feat.
we wouldn't have it any other way. But it is so busy. So quite how I'm managing to fit any music in, I have no idea, to be honest.
Sensational. Oh, well done, mate.
So that's kind of my personal life. We've had some like huge highs this year and some really low lows, and it's just been really kind of in the moment, I guess, for the last couple of years. There's never a dull moment, and it's just everything happens all the time. You're up here one moment and down there the
Yeah.
next. So it's pretty crazy. Musically, I kind of, I mean, I've been playing various instruments since I was in primary school, which is never such a long time ago. Um, and I started learning guitar in my early teens. My granddad bought me my first acoustic guitar, and he passed away this year at the grand old age of 100, which
Wow.
is yeah, it's obviously a bit sad, but
Yeah.
it was actually kind of lovely as well. And I've got his organ here. You can't see it here, but right here in the music room. So every time I play on it, yeah, I think of him, which is very nice.
Oh, that's amazing.
So the last couple of albums have been really strange because did the Lockdown Norglen album,
Yeah.
which
Yeah,
was
I'm
kind
going
of
to say
very.
it's about all of your work, but absolutely, that is a stunning piece of work. That one.
Oh, it's really
Incredible.
interesting because it's completely instrumental.
Mm.
Um, and then there's the Grace Machine, which did Patel Bryant, and that was just kind of gospel blues rock.
Yeah.
Pow! And that was so much fun to do. But this time I've gone back to basics and I've just gone, let's just let the guitar talk. And it's something that I haven't really dared do before, in all honesty. I've been playing guitar for years and years and years, but um, the thought of doing a whole album of guitar instrumentals, I just, I guess it's a confidence thing.
Yeah.
You've got to be, um, well, you've got to be pretty good to do it and for people to enjoy listening to it. There's a lot of people can play guitar really, really well. I mean, you just got to go down to your local guitar shop if you've got one left, and you'll hear people kind of way better than me there. It's crazy the talent of the kids these days. But so for me, this guitar instrumentals album is not so much about playing a million notes per hour. It's about phrasing and melody and
Yeah.
timing and just bringing a load of things together and kind of musicality. So, but what I have done this year is I've made a concerted effort to actually learn some new techniques and to go different places I haven't done and play different sounds I haven't played and really just go for it, stretch my boundaries and try and be the best guitarist I possibly can. But it's very easy if you've been playing guitar for 30 years just to go down those kind of well-worn paths that you always know. Your fingers know how to do it, and it's just so easy to not. There's nothing wrong with that. It's great, and you've got things that you can do that sound fantastic. But actually, sometimes there's a time to move on and really stretch yourself.
Yeah.
And for me, it was really good because this album, as I said, we've had quite an interesting couple of years, and sometimes you just don't know kind of what to say. If someone asks you how you are, you just open your mouth and you think, what do I say? I don't know. You know, half the stuff that goes on, you know, we can't even talk about anyway because it's not our story. You know, and sometimes it's just incredibly full of something amazing that's happened, and sometimes it's just sad times sometimes. So basically what I've done there is in those times I've just picked up my guitar and I've just improvised stuff and I've recorded it and then I've put it all together and I've just kind of let the guitar talk where I've run out of words.
That is such a good way of looking at it. I think I've had a bit of a mixed kind of love with instrumental albums, I suppose. When I have the thought of an instrumental album, I've really got to be in tune with the person who's making it, I think. Absolutely. To make me want to listen to it. Because for me, I absolutely love storytelling, so I love the lyrical side of things. And there are a few out there that I've heard, and it's not matter to me that there's no words. It's really, you know, you feel something and then you almost feel very, very comfortable listening to that and you don't need anything else.
I mean, I personally call these tracks songs. I'm not singing on them, but I am singing on them. And there's kind of lyrical content, there's emotions, there's everything but the lyric. And I think for me, if you like singer-songwriter music, you know, that has meaningful melodies, and I think actually this is actually going to hit the spot because what I've made sure is that after listening to any of these songs, you'll go away singing a bit of it.
Sure.
You know what I mean? It's not, you know, I love some of the guitar greats, and you can just be blown away by just how well they play. But when you go away, you think, and you've listened to that track and you think, I couldn't sing any of it. I don't know what the melody was.
No.
What did it do to me? It was an amazing experience, but it's gone now.
Yeah, technically it's fantastic, but substantially,
you know, and some of these things, if you listen to them 20 times, suddenly it click and you get it. But I wanted people to listen to this and go away singing it.
Yeah.
So yeah, this
brings me on to to a question I wanted to ask them, and it's fascinated by this idea. So, compared to when you write a song with lyrics, you have a story to tell, particularly in your songs, because there is a story behind them all. So first question about this album is what is the challenge then of being able to tell a story, if there is one to tell, with just an instrument? How do you achieve that without saying anything?
In a way, I didn't think about it. I didn't want to overthink it. I picked up my guitar and just let it go. I don't know how to explain this, but it's just instinct. It's just you just play in it, and it just starts flooding out of you, and you record it, and some of it is, you know, it's full of bum notes and it's just naff. But you record yourself over a particular rhythm or something, or a couple of chords, or even just a drone chord. And you just capture that for 10 minutes and you look back and you think, oh my goodness, there's actually some beautiful bits in there. Just put those there. Sometimes you don't have to hardly do anything at all. Other times I'm sat there and I'm thinking, right, I need a bit that goes in here. And sometimes it just comes to me when I'm playing. Other times I have to meticulously kind of work it out and think, right, what's going to go from here and get to there to achieve this kind of emotional response in the listener. So occasionally there's, I have to use my brain, but quite a lot of the time it feels fairly natural. I just record, and then because I do the backgrounds as well. You know, I put some really poor drums on there, and some bass and some strings or whatever. But I could change all that at a moment's notice. If I'm thinking this isn't working, I just move it around and put something else on. And then when it's when I think, oh, I actually quite like enjoying listening to this, I can send it off to Tel Bryant, and he puts his proper drums on it, and then it goes from kind of level 5 to about level 9, and then I spend another 6 months tweaking and retweaking and just getting it so it's just smooth when you listen to it. So even if it's in your face kind of rocky stuff, there's got to be a smoothness about it. You don't want stuff to be kind of like jagged edges on there that are, you want to be an experience that's kind of pleasurable. And so that's kind of how I go about it, really.
That's very cool. So if I was to ask you then, sort of in reverse of my last question then, so since you put the album together, have you listened to any of the tracks and you thought, you may not have been directly influencing you at the time, you were just doing your thing. Can you place any of these songs to particular life events or people or something that, was important to you? Can you kind of link it to that?
Yeah, absolutely. They all kind of blend into one in a way. Some of them are quite melancholic. Some of them are upbeat. I've got more upbeat songs on here than I've ever done, I think. There's
Not that there's a problem with any of that. Some of us like that stuff,
And there's one that's just pure mischief, in all honesty, when you listen to it. But yes, there are various events over the couple of years. I'm not going to go into them because most of my story is fairly, I try and do the same things over and over again that I like, and a lot of it isn't very interesting, but a lot of the people in my life have big stories that affect my emotions considerably. So yeah, there is. So I mean, obviously my granddad passing away was a moment that was captured in there. But it's more that everything comes together in this kind of boiling pot inside you of stuff that just needs to come out, and I don't know what I'm expressing or what it's trying to say, but it's like your soul or your spirit or heart or whatever you want to call it just wants to express itself without your kind of tongue getting in the way.
Yeah, I see.
And your brain, it's kind of cutting out some of that in a way, which is funny because the last album I did was with live singer-songwriter, lyrics driven, acoustic stuff. It's about as far from that as you could possibly get in some respects, but I it's got the same thing. You have this boiling pot of emotions that comes out in either of them. It's just on one of them I was able to translate that into words, and then this I couldn't.
And I think one thing I remember saying last time we spoke is how difficult it is to kind of pigeonhole your work into particular genres, because you do cover such a spectrum of stuff. This new album, then, if you could link it, if you were to say to someone, someone wanted to ask what it was like, if you could liken it to, obviously it's your stuff, but if you could liken it to someone or some kind of genre, what would you say it's closest to?
It's like, so hard, isn't it? I'm a nightmare, by the way. Well, the last one was easy, wasn't it? That was easy. This, I think, if you like your kind of Steve Vai and your Satriani, you'll probably find something in here that you like. There's a guy I like an awful lot called Dave Bronze. Been working with him recently. So he's an incredible guitarist, and he's kind of got a kind of Celtic feel, edge sound to it, which is marvelous. There's definitely a bit of that in there. Iona, I don't know if you know Iona, the
I don't know,
they're a Celtic prog rock band. If you don't know, look them up. Fabulous. I've been listening to those since I was a wee dot, and that's there's definitely their influences in there. But I think also a lot of singers have influenced it. So you Nina Simone's, for instance, or there's definitely some Marillion in there.
Okay.
It's just all the stuff I listen to. It comes out. But yeah, I think there's probably more singing that comes out in my guitar in a way than some of the guitarists.
Which is strange to think, isn't it? But
yeah, I actually use singing techniques on it. So, for instance, vibrato, rather than just banging it on the same each time, I kind of use it like a vocalist would. So you start your note flat and then start bringing in the vibrato and increase it towards the end of a long note. So you got kind of expression in that, and I try and model that in some of the stuff I do. Yeah, so
Cool.
there we go.
I know you mentioned in the message to me when we first sort of picked up communications again, that you had learned quite a few techniques while you were recording this album. Obvious question, I suppose. Do you feel like during the course of this album you've grown even more as a musician?
Honestly, incredibly. My half piece is yes. My guitar is much better than it was before. I don't want to just bulldoze everybody with a million notes. It's really not what I'm about. I've always had good phrasing and good melody, and but I want to be able to supplement with a little bit of chili here and there in my career. You know what I mean? And sometimes you just need a blistering run from here to here just to get to that high note.
Yes.
It's you just want little bits here and there, and it's not to say, oh look, I could do some tapping.
No.
It's because I need this particular sound, and that's how you achieve it. So one of the things that I'm doing that I wasn't doing is just a lot of fast picking, whereas I was doing everything legato before, probably from my violin background.
Right.
So for me, that was actually quite hard to pick up because my right hand just wasn't up to it. It wasn't capable of being metronomic enough to match my left hand, and that's taken a lot of work. And actually, I can see a huge amount of things that I need to work on to be even better for next time. So I've opened a can of worms. I can't stop.
That's fantastic. I mean, all the things that you can do, all the instruments you can play, you are still learning, which is great for someone like me who's been banging on the guitar for 20 years in my bedroom, not really wanting the outside world to hear me, kind of thinking I'm never gonna, I've reached my point, I can't learn anymore, this is as good as I'm gonna get. I think what you're doing definitely gives me hope, and probably loads of others, that actually there is no end point.
Oh, absolutely. And I also would definitely say I'm not physically gifted. I've got small, pudgy, fat hands that are not like pianist hands. Or sometimes you see guitarists and their fingers are just huge, and they can do these massive stretches. And it's just no. It's you've got to find your own ways around it sometimes. And I think if you ape someone else's style, you can be in for a bit of sadness because you can't play like them. You can't because you're not them. You haven't got the same fingers. You haven't got the same brain. But they can't play like you either.
No.
And I think everyone is definitely unique with their guitar playing and can make something very musical, very wonderful. For sure.
That is lovely to hear.
It doesn't need to be complicated.
No.
Some of the best tunes in the world are incredibly simple.
You know what? It reminds me of a guest I spoke to on my last series. Fantastic songwriter called Luna Keller. And the song that gripped me for her, she called it 2-chord song. It was just literally, it was a song with 2 chords, and it was fantastic. And that, I think, just reminded me a line from the song, simple isn't always wrong. You try to, and probably what you're referring to with this album is you didn't want the world to see how fast you can play, how many notes you can play per minute.
As I said, there's way better guys than me down the guitar shop. 12-year-olds just
but
blistering.
That's not always what we want.
No,
I mean, I'm one for that. I tend to listen to, if I hear quite fast guitarists, they impress me initially, but there's got to be something special for me to carry on listening, like track on track on track, because if it's the same thing, there's just no substance to it. But that's just me. I'm not saying that everyone shares that opinion. We will circle back. We haven't introduced the album, so people are probably wondering what the hell's going on.
Yes.
So it's called Presence.
It is, yeah.
We will circle back to it because I obviously want to talk at the end about where people can pre-order it and all the other things that you've got going on alongside it. There is one other thing that I wanted to discuss with you, if I could, during this episode, is the album Closer. Because I saw when you were posting about what you were doing with this and the recording of it, I was very, very impressed. Firstly, at your bravery. Just kind of just explain what you did. Just lay the background of what you did to record this album and put this one together.
Okay, I mean, basically, I wrote the songs, obviously, and then for at least 6 months, possibly 8 months or a bit longer, I played them every single day. I played them standing up, standing on my head, left-handed, I different positions, loud, quiet, and they just change a bit when you play them a lot. And I let them kind of breathe and kind of come to life. So there was no, I need to play this next. It was just, this is me singing the song and this is me playing it. And it kind of ground off any rough edges on them. And in some of them, I changed the key very slightly just to make it smoother and a better listen. And then I basically got a group of friends and family set up in our lounge. We got a big lounge. We got this ridiculous sprawling Victorian money pit, but it has got a massive lounge. And I set up the speakers there, and we got sofas from here, there, and everywhere, and everyone kind of sat down and we we had some drinks and things, and I just played it for everyone, recorded it live, and then mixed it, and then that was the album. It sounds very simple, but yes, it was scary before I started, because I thought, well, what if I go wrong? Well, it doesn't really matter. I can always do it again, can't I? But you won't get that immediate the response that they had the first time round. What happens if the technical side goes wrong? You've got 1 hour and that's your album done, basically. I wasn't going to do any overdubs or change anything. It is really what happens on the day, and that's so you've got nearly a year's work coming down to this 45 minutes with someone pressing the record button, and there's no take backs and there's nowhere to go. This is going to have to go out. By hook or by crook.
So obviously a lot of artists, a lot of big bands and that, they've released live albums. I'm guessing was the intention for this to be a live album, or you just wanted that intimate kind of feel to it?
Yes. I was never going to have a crowd of thousands. I didn't want that. But when you sing and you've got people there who are listening and involved, the music kind of flows out of you, it goes to them, it lights them up, and it comes back to you. There's kind of this energy coming. I don't know how to describe it. There's got to be some words. There's no kind of but you kind of got an energy that goes out to you. I wish I could describe this better. I'm a physicist. I should be able to do this. And then it comes back to you and it affects what you play. So the audience who are listening to you changes the sound that you're making, because you are playing. They're almost like part of the instrument in a way, or part of the choir or something. And if you just play in a sterile room, it's not even remotely close. There's an energy in the room, and an intimacy and a warmth. And it's not even just sound. You literally play differently because they're there, and it's much better. It's much better. If I just played that into a tape recorder, it wouldn't have been. Anyway, good. I mean, on the end, I did get them to join in on the last song.
I love that.
Which was lovely. I mean, you should have been there. It was so loud. I didn't really quite set up the crowd mics very well, and they went so loud they completely drowned these two mics. There's just, oh dear! It didn't occur to me just how loud it was going to be in there. So I had mics for them in case they sang along. Yeah, they were no good. But anyway. Yeah, it was absolutely fabulous experience. It really was. And I'll never forget it.
It's fantastic when I watch back the if you go on Matt's YouTube channel,
of course we videoed it as well.
You got the video, so you got the individual videos, but you got the whole thing as well, which is it's truly. And did you have a live feed?
Yes.
I was like, if you are trying to put any more pressure on yourself to do this, not only for the people in the room and the people recording, let's put it out live on social media while you're doing it.
Well, I've got to be honest. I played the first chord, and it all went away. It was lovely. It was so much fun, and just looking at everyone's faces and just seeing how much fun they were having. It was very, very special. I didn't feel nervous at all as soon as it started. It was just before.
When was it? Was it last year you recorded that? Was it just after the world
No,
started opening up again? Had you done any sort of live gigs previous to that to kind of get back into performing live, or?
no. I think I've done one gig since COVID.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, I did a gig at the Musician in Leicester, which is cracking venue. I love that, and I've always wanted to sing there. So
Oh,
when I
cool.
got the opportunity, I jumped at it,
Yeah.
and that was cracking. Lovely stage sound, great people. Definitely go back. But yeah, with my strange lifestyle of having 6 million kids, it's
Yeah,
my
absolutely. Yeah.
music are at a premium, let's say, and
Yeah.
so I can pick and choose what gigs I want to do, who I want to play with, who I
Yeah.
and I don't need to be playing Wonderwall 5 nights a week and the local pub. You know what I mean?
I wouldn't want to hear it for one, if I'm honest with you. That's really not one of those songs I turn out for. So no, that's fair enough. That's fair enough. Your family a good sounding board, I would imagine, for new ideas and things. Are they the
Well,
first to
my
hear stuff?
wife is very supportive, but she only likes music that she knows. So I have to kind of surreptitiously slip it in there.
Okay.
So she has to hear it a few times. I could put it on the car just nice and quietly. She doesn't know it's on, but
Yeah.
by osmosis, after a few months, she kind of gets to know it, and then she, oh yeah, I like this one. So, but if I just played it for her, okay, no, not kind of a thing. The kids are really funny. I mean, this one's instrumental. I put it on in the van. We've got a big minibus, obviously,
Yeah.
big yellow minibus. Honestly,
Okay.
there's no
There you go.
anonymity.
No.
Everyone knows it's us when we go past and waves. It's really
Brilliant.
funny. But if I put it on in the van, they'll sing along with the instrumentals. And it's just like, can we have that one on with the drums? No, you mean the guitar, don't you? No, the drums. Oh, come on, kids.
Which one's that? Yeah, right.
So yeah. But I mean, if my kids could sing it, that says something, I guess.
That's great. No, that's brilliant. And I think, do you, when you're in your room there, you're practicing or you're noodling around, they get to hear you around the house, or
Yeah,
have you
yeah.
got it fully
I try and
sounded?
do it mostly when they're at school, but
Yeah,
yes.
it's
But
one
they
way
do
to do
hear a
it.
lot of it. I play it over and over in the car, in the van,
Mm.
and in little headphones and big headphones and studio speakers. I play it on everything I possibly can, see how it's
Sure.
working, and then tweak something and I play it again. So they've heard it
Yeah.
probably far too much, really.
My little boy Oscar, he's desperate. He's such a music nut.
Oh, awesome.
He's desperate to play the guitar. I think at some point, if any one of us was to be a guitarist and a front man, it would be him.
Awesome.
When I get my guitar out and I'm sat there and I'm just, I'm very heavily on my acoustic now. I very rarely get my electrics out. And he comes and sits by me for a little bit, but then you can see the frustration because he wants to do it. And he would almost just walk away because I feel really bad because I'm thinking like I'm making him feel like he can't do it. He's not got the patience to learn from me.
I think teaching your children instruments. There are some people who've managed to do it successfully, but I think it's a very hard thing. I think I'd struggle with that. I would definitely, separation of duties. But I mean, we've got 3 or 4 cheap and nasty kind of half-sized guitars around the house. So the little one who's 5, he'll drag it around the house like a dog, mate. Like a dog on a lead. It's like, if this was a real guitar, you'd be in bits.
Yeah,
But
right.
just let him do it, and when I'm playing, he'll bring it up and he'll start smashing it, and my life it is hilarious. You're thinking, I don't need this right now. It's lovely. It's lovely. Keep going. Yes, well done,
You
son.
can't quash it, can you? But yeah. Oh, bless. No.
Tell you what I've done this time round, because a lot of the stuff that I play, I tab out at the moment. So A, I know what I've played,
Yeah.
and B, so I know I can play it again. So if I want to play it live or something, I've got it to refer to. So I tab it out. So this time round, I'm actually releasing a download of the backing tracks. So with my guitar taken out and with the sheet music. So we'll see if anyone takes up the challenge.
Is that the musicians package? Is that one?
Yes, that's right. Yeah.
So you've got one person here who has, because obviously I've opted for that, because as soon as I saw that, I was like, yeah. And I've said to you before how there's a few songs of yours I would absolutely love to be able to play. So being able to kind of bridge that gap and be able to to play something that you've got on this album is going to be fantastic. So
should be fun.
Let's bring it back then. That's exactly where I wanted to go next. So funnily enough, let's bring it back to presents. So you told us a lot about what's gone into the album and what we can expect. How can we order it? It's available pre-order at the moment.
It's on pre-order, yeah. So, I mean, as an independent musician, it's really important to do a pre-order stage. Some people call it crowdfunding. For me, it's not crowdfunding. I've already made the album. There's a couple of tweaks to go. Yeah. And it is going out. But what I don't know is how many T-shirts to buy. I don't know how many hoodies to buy. I don't know how many CDs to buy, although I've got a good rough idea.
Yeah.
And a lot of stuff I've paid for already. But basically, a pre-order stage allows an independent musician to get numbers on how much to buy. So I don't have a garage full of extra small pink ladies T-shirts or something. Because it's so hard to tell, and you just can't afford to waste the money these days on having merch that isn't sold. You can't do it. And secondly, it brings in a bit of money before you start, which means that you don't go broke in the process, if that makes any sense. So this year I've done vinyl for the first time, which is bucket list. You got it. It really is a bucket list thing. I've been wanting to do it for years, and this is the one. It's a little bit. It's short enough. I couldn't have got Norgland on one disc.
Oh, okay.
Interesting. And I just thought, what, I'm going to do it. So I did it, but it's stupidly expensive. It is, and I've got to sell an absolute mountain of them to make it. But it wasn't about that. I just wanted to do it and offer it. So I've done that. So that's a great bit of fun. But yeah, it's at mattsteady.com. 2 T's in Matt. And there's 2 music videos for 2 of the tracks on there, and you can have a listen to that. And they come out rather nice, I think. And it's kind of like a letter just saying what on earth the album's about. And then there's different options. So there's downloads, CDs, the vinyl, which I'm so excited about. There's a musician package. There's T-shirts and hoodies and there's all sorts. So have a look around.
And you got the notebooks as well. I thought that was a beautiful.
The notebooks are amazing.
They are fantastic.
Honestly, I've been using these for a few years now. I got them first with Norgland, didn't I? And then I did another reissue for something else, and I got some more. So, especially near Christmas, they just fly out. Even people who don't like my music, they buy them because they're so cool.
They are the kind of notebooks I would see in some of these shops you see in these quaint little villages.
I feel like I should have more incense in my room when I've got.
That's it. That is exactly it. Yeah, those kind of shops stock them, and I'm a sucker for a notebook, and I've got too many of them because I always think when I'm lacking inspiration for any kind of writing, I'm like, I'll buy a notebook. It's going to inspire me to write something.
Definitely.
The amount of half empty or mostly empty notebooks I've got around the place is hideous, unfortunately. But that's for me to sort out. But no, I think what you are doing for this album, and I said it before, how you reach out to the fans, you make yourself very accessible. The amount of things that you've got available, and ways that they can feel part of what you're doing is fantastic. And it's not something I've seen a lot of to that degree.
I've got to say, being an independent musician is really, really hard. I know loads of people, and me, my first album, I made an album, put it out there, and I think 3 people and a dog bought it. And then you kind of go, oh, well, of course, why would they buy it? They don't even know it's there. And unfortunately, you can't just be a musician. You've got to be everything else as well. You've got to be an artist. You've got to be a marketer. You've got to be an accountant. You've got to. Honestly, it's ridiculous. And half the time, you wonder, when will I ever get to do some music?
Yeah, quite.
But it's great. But I've kind of managed to get a little step above that, and I've got a lovely core of absolutely amazing. I don't really like the term fan, to be honest. Friends, listeners. And they seem to support me through thick and thin, even when I go from just completely change my genre every single album. I think they seem to stick with me, so that's lovely. But this time is interesting. I seem to have got quite a lot of sales from people I don't know. Normally,
Cool.
everyone, you know, all the sales I know the people who've bought them, because that's how my marketing, it's just such a horrible word, but that's how my marketing works, is I get to know people, you know, as actual people and friends. And so generally I know who's going to buy my albums. And I know most of the people. But this time around, there's quite a lot of people buying it that I don't know. So that's quite exciting, actually. Because actually getting to know all of your listeners is wonderful and great fun. It's not very scalable.
No, I suppose not. No.
You know, you're never going to sell 1 million albums doing that. You know,
no.
You know, 1 million albums is not my goal. Don't, you know, it's all about the music, and I'd much rather touch a few people's hearts really fundamentally than do some plastic pop thing that makes you know, sells 1 million albums or whatever. It's not about
for 15 minutes.
But I would love to get my music into more people's ears, because I you know, it's not for everyone, but there's a good section of people that listen to this kind of music, and it actually means something, and it you know, and it helps, and it heals. And I've had that in my past. You know, we talked about it last time. You know, music has been very healing for me, other people's music, and the thought of being able to do that for other people is just amazing. But so, you know, getting it out to more people, and more people benefiting it for it, you know, it's great.
I can't wish you enough of the best with this. Everything you're doing, I think, you know, I'm so impressed with everything that you release, and you know, I can stick any of it on while I'm working, whatever I'm doing. I said to you a couple of weeks ago, I've got my own playlist. If anyone wants to find it on Spotify amongst Matt's own stuff, and it sees me through cleaning the house, because it starts with Buen Camino and then it kind of goes and you know, if any song's going to get you up and doing the most arduous task and not being too worried about it, it's going to be that one.
That was a song written for a listener.
What, for one of your listeners?
Yeah, you know, I do this quite a bit. There's a few of them are, but that one's about someone who did the what's that? I can't remember what it's called now. It's an absolutely mental walk right across Europe. It's like a pilgrimage.
Oh, okay.
It's hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of miles.
Yeah,
and they did it, and I was so impressed. And when I talked to them about it, I did a video call with them just to go talk about it, and I took some notes. I thought, I'll write a song about that. It's just some amazing stuff in there. Like at the end, you know, they ceremonially throw their boots away.
Yeah,
that's where that thing comes from. You know, so yeah, that was good.
I was going to finish then. Unfortunately, I will draw this to a close. I could talk to you for hours, you know that. But I'm going to finish on something. I will put you on the spot a little bit here, but it's your own work. So, out of everything that you've done, if anyone was to come up to you and say, you know what, give me 5 songs that you feel that are either your favorite or that you feel represent you the most, out of everything that you've done, what would they be?
Oh my goodness! I mean, the first one I would send them to is definitely Deep Calls to Deep, which is the first track off the new album, the one I've done the video for. As far as I can tell with that track, if anybody listens to it all the way through with an open mind, they just seem blown away by it. And that's a kind of a thrill and a privilege. And it seems to be touching a whole load of people that my normal music wouldn't touch. So that's very exciting. Goodness me. Probably. Oh my goodness. July of '69 is an important one for me. It was one of the very first songs I wrote, and I still play it live now when I get a chance. I think it's a good one. Theory of Ruins is really special to me. Really special. I never felt like I quite managed to capture it in the recording, that track.
Right.
It's
Okay.
good, but I kind of did this kind of almost like a slightly muddy mix on purpose. It kind of needed
Okay.
this like swampy feel.
Yeah.
It didn't really quite bring across the emotional content I wanted. I mean, it's still good, but live it's twice as good.
Okay.
So
That's
good.
one song actually that I know my son has his ears pricked up because the intro to it is very, very similar to his favorite band Ghosts, one of their
Oh,
very early
really?
songs. Yeah,
Oh,
very,
interesting.
very slight. It's only
Yeah,
like
yeah,
the opening couple of notes, and
yeah,
since he told me that, I kind of all right, I can listen to it.
yeah.
I didn't before, but yeah,
Oh, that's
it's very
cool.
cool.
And from the Closer album, there's the C1. Oh my life, what's that called?
Drawn to the Sea? Is it Drawn by the
That's the
Sea?
one, Drawn to the Sea. Thank you.
That's right.
I know what the feeling is. I'm not quite sure what the song title is.
That is a beautiful.
Oh, it's marvelous. It's marvelous to sing live. That one.
Yeah.
It's one that's somehow my voice just lets itself go on, and
Mm.
it seems to have hit the magic pitch, and just there's a lot of songs that I sing, and I think it's a bit like hard work, that one, but this one just comes out, and it feels great. I love that one. How many's that?
That's 4. So you got one more.
Well, I think the whole of the Norglen album is really one track. I'm going to go with that. Is that cheating?
No. Sure, cool. If that's what you class it as, that's absolutely fine. Who am I to stand in the way with that? So
I would like to do an album that just flows all the way through at one point. I think that'd be quite fun.
That'd be cool. If you were to do that, would that be an instrumental one, or would it be kind of a mix of both even?
I don't know, really. I mean,
like an opera, wouldn't it?
Go a bit proggy and be lots of. I mean, I've got a couple of almost instrumentals.
Okay.
If you go back through the albums, and they work quite nicely.
I'm a big Jethro Tull fan, so anything
wonderful,
like Thick as a Brick and stuff like that, and what they've done with a couple of those.
Legend.
Fantastic. Listen, Matt, thank you so much for your time.
Thanks for having me.
It's been fantastic to have you back on. All the best with the pre-order stage and beyond that, when Presence is out, all the success that is.
Thanks so much,
Chris. To bring you, mate, and it'll be good at some point down the road. Let's do this again. Let's just keep keep meeting up, and it's great to talk to you, mate. So all the best, sir.
All right. Cheers. See you soon, Chris.
Cheers. Episode, please take a moment to like, share and hit the subscribe button. Also follow us on Facebook and Instagram to keep updated about all future shows.